Hi everyone, Deneen here in Photoshop Elements with some of the chipboard frames from the Storyteller Kit Fun, which I'm referring to as Storyteller Kit number 1. I've chosen to use these as the frames for a 6 by 8 page, which is actually 7 by 8 1/4 outside of the page protector. I'm going to make these into frames. I'm going to be putting photos inside of them, and then I will be cutting them out to put on top of a regular 7 by 8 1/4 paper. So this is one of the frames. You could use the die cut frames as well. I chose the chipboard ones, I like the colors, and so I am going to be using these to create photo masks for some of my photos. So this is how the frame is when you open it up in your Photoshop, and it's pretty tiny. You can see here it's only about 2 inches wide, and I am going to be resizing that when I get it to my larger canvas. I'm going to begin by selecting the inner portion here with my little magic wand tool. So I will go ahead and I will click inside. You'll see the marching ants, and then I'm going to right click, layer via copy. So I am going to make that a layer. Then I am going to go ahead and resize that because I like to have white around my photos. You don't have to resize it. I'll actually drag the photo in before I resize it to show you what that would look like. So just going to go ahead. I have 3 photos here that I'm interested in using. So I will drag one of them into this canvas, and it'll be on top of that layer that I created. I will hold down Option, and I think it is Alt on an HP, and I will click between these 2 layers, which will go ahead and then mask my photo inside of that shape. You can go ahead and resize. Here I'm going to have to resize, pretty much being careful because I know that I'm not going to get all of our faces in there, and I'm okay with that. So I'm kind of resizing it so that it fits in there from top to bottom. And then I can go ahead and I can kind of move this around a little bit, commit my changes, and you can see now that I have, I'll zoom in a little bit. I have the photo, and it is directly right outside of that blue swirly frame shape. I would like some white around this photo. So what I'm going to end up doing is I will go over to my layers palette. I will hold down Command. I will choose both the layer and the photo, and then I'm just going to go ahead with the anchors, and I'm going to just make that a little bit smaller, and committing the changes with both of them still selected. I will just kind of move it around in here and position it so that there is some white around the outside of my photo. Again, that's a preference. You don't have to make it smaller. That's just what I like to do. Now, I'm going to go ahead and let's see, File. I am going to make a new file because I want to resize this to fit onto the 7 by 8 1/4 canvas. And I have that as a preset here, so 7 by 8 1/4. I'll click OK, and then this is what it actually will look like as a larger page. So going down to the photo bin and back here, I know that I want to have these pieces into this canvas. So I will go ahead and actually select all of those pieces by holding down Shift. The top one is selected. I will choose the bottom one, and then I will go to Layer, Duplicate Layers, and I will duplicate the layers into that untitled one canvas, and then click OK. So when I go over to the canvas, you'll see how tiny that actually is in reference to the page that I'm wanting to do. And I will just go ahead and I will just resize. So I'm just going to drag that and make that probably right about there. I'm not measuring, just eyeballing. And then I can go ahead and move that in the middle. So my page is going to be the background with this on top. But I'm also wanting to do several of these frames and layer them on top of each other. So I will go ahead and I will do the same thing. Here is the green frame. So I'm going to do the same exact thing with that. And then I will do the same exact thing with I believe this one is orange. Okay, or yellow. I'm not really sure. Yes, it is orange. Right, so let's go back over here and let's do that same thing with these other two frames. All right, so now I have those three frames with all of the photos together. Let's see, what can we do from here? There are several options that you can do. You can go ahead and hide some of them and, oops, have only this one available. You can then go ahead and print this out completely on photo paper so that you have this whole thing, and then you can just fussy cut around the frame. Then you would go ahead and hide that one, reveal the next one, reveal the next one, and then you can do the same thing for this one, print this out on photo paper, cut around the outside, and then hide those, and then bring back the last one, and then do the same. So that will give you three frames all on photo paper with the photos printed right with the frame. I am going to separate the photos from the frames because I like a little bit of the texture that comes along with also fussy cutting the photos out. So I'm going to print the frames without, I'll just show you here. I'm going to print this frame alone without, let me just hide that. There we go. Without the photo in it, fussy cut around it, and then I will go ahead and I will hide the background and bring back the photo, and then this will get printed on photo paper, and then I will fussy cut around this. And I will do that for all three photos and all three frames. And again, that just gives me a little bit of texture that I like to have inside of my albums. Now, there's one more thing that I do want to show you that I'm interested in doing. I'm not sure if I can show you it on this size canvas, because what I'd like to do, let me just increase this canvas size to give you an idea of what I'm looking to do. Whether it's going to work the way I want or not, I'm not 100% sure, but I'm going to give it a shot because sometimes I like to add some interactive elements into my pages. So I'm going to resize the canvas at this point. I'm going to just make it double the width, right? So that I have more space from left to right. So I will hit OK. And now I have more space. And I'm only doing this so I can get an idea of how I want to format these in order to be able to make a kind of a fold out, right? I'm interested in making kind of a fold out. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to reveal all of these so that I can see them together. So let's bring them all up. And I don't want them to be on top of each other at the moment. So I will go and I will just select the ones that belong together. All right, so I'm selecting these. I'm just going to move this over in this direction. Again, just this is not going to be printed from this canvas. It's just to give me an idea of what I'm trying to do. I will leave this one here in the middle, and then I will go ahead and select this one. Let's see, that one, and that one. And I am going to move, okay, that didn't work. Let's undo that move. I will select that one, and that one. And I want to, why is that not working for me? Let's try this one more time. Select, select, and select. And now I'm going to move, there we go, move that out. All right, So what I'd like to do is I would like to, after I have printed all of the photos and frames, I would like to make it so that they lie on top of each other with brads connecting them at these little loops on the sides so that they can swing out. Now, in order to make sure that they swing out and all of the photos are facing right side up, one of these photos needs to be upside down. The middle one needs to be upside down. So I will go ahead with this one, and I'm not going to change the direction of the outside frame. I'm only going to work with flipping the photo upside down. So let's see if I can make this work. I want this photo, and I want it to be upside down. So let's go ahead and see how we can rotate that. So image, rotate. Let's see, maybe rotate layer. Let's see, would it be vertical or horizontal? Let's try vertical, right? We could always undo what did not turn out okay. So let's hit vertical. Okay, that's exactly what I wanted. So the reason why I'm doing this is because these are going to be positioned together on top of each other. And as they swing out, this one needs to be upside down so that when it swings out, it's right side up. You will understand that a little bit better once you continue watching my process video here. But if you are interested in doing something that I am going to be doing with this page, this is what you will need to do before you go ahead and you cut everything out. Okay, so I'm just kind of giving you that heads up that that's something before you cut everything out that you may want to do. If you just want to use one photo on your 7 by 8¼ canvas, you can just choose one of the frames, choose a photo, and then just do what I originally had shown you to do. But I am going to give this a shot. We'll see how it works out. And I will go ahead now and individually print these out, individually cut them out, and then I will meet you back at my desk to show you how I plan on putting this all together. So back at my desk with all of my pieces to put everything together, we have the 3 die cut frames that I cut out individually from my photos. Again, I like a little bit of texture, and just doing the photos separate from the frames gives just a little bit and enough to make me happy. So those 3 pieces are going to be on top of each other on this piece of 7 by 8¼ inch paper from the Storyteller Kit Fun. Love the boldness of that background. I also found this paper in my stash. It is the physical paper from the December 2023 present story kit. And it's a paper with a lot of yellow, maybe yellow or orange little tiny stars on it. And I wanted to print directly on top of it, but I felt like a little bit of vellum would probably kind of make it so that the text stood out a little bit more. So I went ahead and I typed up some journaling, leaving space between each of my paragraphs because I'm going to be stamping in between them with this stamp, the one that says I love us. And that is where I'm going to begin. Love this new stamp set that's out. I already used the I love this on one of my December daily pages. So I'm super excited to use I love us. I'm using this archival ink, which I believe is let's see, it is Prize Ribbon. So I'm going to be using that with my stamp on top of the vellum. So let's get started here with the stamping. Again, just using my acrylic block and inking up my stamp and just kind of placing that in the middle of those 2 paragraphs the best that I can, kind of eyeballing it. No measurements here, just putting it 3 times, one at the top and then in the middle and then at the bottom there. So that is how that is going to be on this page. I am then going to go ahead and I'm going to trim the vellum down so that there is just a very tiny margin around I guess making the vellum a little bit smaller than the 7 by 8 1/4 inch page. And I don't know why. I just decided I wanted to do that. And I decided that I wanted to do some sewing to get the vellum to stay on top of the page. So I just kind of eyeballed it, used my pencil, made some marks, just trying to get it to be a little bit smaller than that paper. And then I'll use a little bit of temporary adhesive here just to hold the vellum down onto the paper, and then take that over to my sewing machine. And I'm going to sew with green. So I don't know if you could tell there, but it is green. And I did go off a little bit there. I'm not worried about it. Again, perfection is something I'm trying to let go of in 2025. I've been trying to let go of it for a couple years now, so I'm just working on that. So that page is going to be paired with this really bold flower paper. And originally I decided I'm going to try to cut holes in both of them at the same time with my 6-inch or my 6-hole punch. And then I decided that that might be a bit too much. So doing the paper first, making marks on the back of the other one and punching those out. So those are both ready to be put in my album. Now here I'm going to slow down just a little bit because I want to just show you one of the frames. Remember, I put the photo upside down. So my reasoning behind this is that they are going to kind of fold out from each other. So getting the photos first with my rolling adhesive onto each of the frames. And once again, if you printed these out with the photo and the frame together on photo paper, then this part right here is not absolutely necessary. But I did. So before I get these frames together, I want to get the photos where they belong. So this last one here is the one that I printed the photo upside down. So if you take a look at the screen and just kind of notice the difference between the middle frame and then the two on the side. The middle frame is actually right now upside down. Okay, so if you could look at the little loops, you'll see that the loops on the first photo frame and the loops on the last photo frame, they match up. This one is the opposite. So you can see the loops are opposite. That needs to happen in order for this to be able to be put together and kind of swing out from each other. All right, so I'm going to take the middle one and I am going to place it upside down. Now all of the loops match up. So the photo's upside down, but the frame is the same way. And then this one is going to go on the top. So that's the reasoning behind doing that middle one upside down, because as it's laying in this stack, it is upside down, but it's not upside down when you pull it out. So putting these on top of each other, let's start with these two. I'm going to just hold them together, use my paper piercer and a silver brad to attach them. And there you go. Do you see how that had to be upside down? Now this one is upside down right now, but it won't be because it's going to pull out like that. So all of them are connected together and they all swing out. The only thing that will be adhered will be the last one, the bottom one to the page. And that is it. So I thought it was a fun way to do this page and to spice it up just a little bit. I pull out the actual chipboard pieces and I eventually decide on this square piece. And none of the phrases from that Love 4x6 stamp set fit. So I pulled out the We stamp set from the We Story Kit. And I found one that fit nicely. So I'm going to use that blue archival ink and stamp on there. And that's just going to go on top of the top photo. And of course, I decide to put my date on. I'm going to put it all the way on the left, and I'm going to do it kind of sideways. So that was where it fit the best, and I'm totally okay with that. So let's look at some of the changes that I made once I get this chipboard piece on. Not much, not many changes here, but I just added some hearts. And I just wanted to kind of put a little bit of, little pops of color besides just the blue that you're seeing. So a little green, a little orange, a little red heart on the journaling page, and then a little red heart on the photo of me and my son, only on the one that lies on the top. And then let's take a look when you swing out those 3 photos. There they are. So all 3 of them, once again, are connected, and they just kind of swing out from each other toward the right side there. And that is it, guys. This was fun. I love this kit. I love the different patterns, and I love the different shapes, and I had a really good time working with this. Pretty simple, but also pretty fun. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments below. Otherwise, hopefully we will see you all in my next video.